story has been a vehicle that's been changing lives since the beginning. It's the vehicle that Jesus chose to impact lives. He would tell stories. And a lot of times people think of these Bible stories as kind of, storybooks on a shelf that have some truths to them and some principles in them, whatever. They don't really realize that these were real human beings with real human crises and issues and opportunities. So when we present them in a very human form, for example, bringing Moses off the mountain and bringing him to our level, all of a sudden the story of Moses's trials becomes so relevant to us. And you have people coming here who weren't expecting that. And then they leave completely blown away because they were like, I never thought in a million years that I could relate to Moses.
I got a letter from a lady who said that she brought her husband here to see Moses this spring. And at the end of the show, he said, whoa, it finally makes sense. And I think it meant the Bible finally makes sense. He started going to church, he started going to Sunday school, and he inevitably found that relationship with Jesus Christ. And she said, I honestly wonder if it would have ever happened had he not come to Sight and Sound and seen a show.
The way that this place was founded almost 40 years ago was founded by the founder by the name of Glenn and Shirley Eshelman, and they were dairy farmers, and they got called into the ministry. And Glenn was a painter and a photographer, and he was also like a fourth generation minister. And so somewhere along his path in his early 20s, he felt called to combine all of them, photography and art and ministry. And so he created slideshows that were inspiring for thousands of people. He would tour the nation with these slideshows. And all of a sudden he was raising a family, and he asked himself, why am I driving everywhere? Why don't they come to me? So he created a theater, Living Waters Theater, which is right down the road. We don't operate that anymore, but we did for about 35 years. And what makes Sight and Sound most unique is the way that we combine ministry and bring the Bible to life on stage. And the way that we do it in such a big, epic scale. We have a 300-foot wraparound stage, hundreds of live animals, professionally trained cast, and everything done is kind of on biblical proportions, if you will. But more importantly than the scope of our sets and the size of our stage, it's the heart and desire that we have to bring truth to people through the power of story, and to really move people's hearts towards truth through that power of story. And these stories have been changing lives for thousands of years. They're powerful, they live. And for us to be able to pull those timeless stories from the Old and New Testament and present them on the stage and have it come to life for people, it just changes lives. It absolutely changes lives.
It makes it so personal what we do, because we realize this isn't a sea of people. This is people that are comprised of one person at a time in this building, and everyone has their story, and we can hopefully meet their needs in ways that maybe otherwise, like that lady shared in her letter, otherwise would never have been met. Our prayer at the end of the day is that this is so much more than entertainment, that this is a life-changing experience.
When we pull these tremendous stories out from the Bible, not only are they great stories that will move people, but the Word promises that they're not going to return without doing their work. So it goes beyond us telling a cool story on stage and staging it. It goes eternal, and that's why we tell biblical stories.